Let's go Dolphins! The Dolphins made a bold and controversial decision that could change everything regarding their playoff chances and possibly the future of the franchise. It's not just about benching Tua Tagovailoa. It's about a rookie, Quinn Ewers, being thrown to the Lions, and what we saw on the field might shock you. There are things behind the scenes that you need to know, things that might explain why Mike McDaniel is risking everything now and why this game may have created a real controversy about the quarterback position in South Florida. I'm about to show you the real story, the plays the media doesn't analyze, the coaching staff decisions nobody wants to talk about, and the truth about what Quinn Ewers. But before I tell you everything I've discovered, don't forget to like if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan, with blood in the colors aqua and orange. And if you followed this team through thick and thin, comment below, go Dolphins! We deserve a Super Bowl. Now let's go. Sunday marked the debut of Quinn Ewers as Miami's starting quarterback following the decision to bench Tua Tagovailoa, and that alone was a seismic shakeup for the team. Now, let's make something very clear. Despite the lopsided final score, this loss was not squarely on Quinn. In fact, the tape tells a different story. What unfolded on that field was a combination of questionable play calling, brutal defensive lapses in the second half, and yes, a few rookie mistakes, but also flashes of something real, something potentially worth building on. Let's rewind to the opening drive. Miami had just forced a punt. It's 3rd and long. Ewers, showing composure, rolls out under pressure and finds Darren Waller for a 22-yard gain. Now, that play worked out, but it shouldn't have needed heroics. Dwayne Eskridge was wide open across the middle. If Ewers had just ripped the ball with confidence, that's an easy first down. Instead, he held it, bailed out of the pocket, and lobbed up a risky 50-50 ball. That hesitation is something to watch. Yes, Waller made the play, but that throw revealed a young quarterback still adapting to the speed and complexity of NFL decision-making. But then came one of Ewers' best throws of the afternoon, a 14-yard strike to Jalen Waddle that showcased his raw arm talent and anticipation. Dropping back, he saw a narrow window between a safety and a corner and threaded the needle. That's not a throw every NFL quarterback can make, and it was executed with confidence and precision. It's exactly the kind of play that makes you sit up and say, okay, maybe this kid has something. Still, it wasn't all clean. On another snap, miscommunication reared its head. Waddle appeared to be running a comeback route, but Ewers threw as if he expected a streak downfield. The result? A ball that landed 10 yards away from its intended receiver. Was it a bad read or a mistimed route? Hard to know. But those are the growing pains you expect from a rookie. What's concerning, though, is the offensive structure around him. On one play, the route combinations were a complete mess. Waller was surrounded by defenders. Braxton Berrios had 2 defenders on him. The only option was a check down to Waddle, which netted a single yard because Julian Hill completely whiffed on his block. That's not on Quinn. That's on the coaching staff. And when Mike McDaniel's schemes start getting bagged like that, it raises real questions. Now, let's talk about the interception. The first one, 3rd quarter, trailing 24-14. From the jump, this play looked sharp. The route design was a cover 3 beater. Quinn let it fly to Theo Weiss Jr. right as he broke across the field. Perfect timing, right read. But the defensive back read it like a book, undercut the route, tipped the ball, and boom, pick. Was it Ewers' fault? No. That's a ball that should have been caught or, at worst, broken up. It was just a great play by the defense. There's also a growing body of evidence that Ewers thrives in play action. When Miami dialed up play-action passes, which they did on 42% of his dropbacks, a massive number, he was lights out. 12 of 13, 174 yards, 118 QB rating. Those numbers are elite, but when forced into standard dropbacks, that efficiency dropped fast. It's clear that McDaniel was trying to help his rookie QB with structure and deception. The big question is, will that formula hold up against better defenses? And more importantly, is it sustainable? And here's a number you're going to love, only 19.4% pressure rate. That's the 3rd lowest in the entire league last week. So for once, the offensive line showed up in pass protection. Ewers had time. The system gave him clean pockets, and he made some plays. The real wow moment came in garbage time. Down big, clock ticking, Ewers manipulates a linebacker with his eyes, staring down Waller before firing a dart to Theo Weiss on a post route. That's high-level quarterbacking. That's confidence. Sure, it didn't change the outcome of the game, but it told us something about this kid's mindset. He's not just trying to survive, he's trying to play. Let's keep going, because what happened in that second half against Cincinnati deserves a deeper look. This wasn't just a game lost in execution. It was a game that exposed cracks in identity, play calling philosophy, and yes, roster construction. And while Quinn Ewers' debut had its moments of brilliance, the unraveling of the Dolphins in that 3rd and 4th quarter revealed a team that might be further from the Super Bowl than we hoped. Let's go right back into the thick of it. Coming out of halftime, the Dolphins were still within striking distance. But the tone shifted fast, not because of Ewers, but because of a defense that collapsed under pressure. The Bengals ran straight through Miami's front 7. There was no push, no gap discipline, and no adjustments. That put the rookie quarterback in comeback mode, and suddenly the burden of the offense rested entirely on his shoulders. It was here that the evaluation became a lot clearer. Take the third quarter play around the 9:36 mark. Miami calls a high-risk concept, a mix of flats, slants, and a hitch on the far side. Ewers tries to force one into Greg Dulcich on the slant, but the ball sails dangerously close to being intercepted. Now here's the thing. The throw wasn't necessarily bad, but the decision? That's what made it turnover-worthy. The linebacker covering Dulcich read Ewers like a book. What's frustrating is that Darren Waller was wide open at the bottom of the screen by the time the play unfolded. Ewers never saw him. Why? Pressure. And it wasn't exotic blitzes or hidden coverages. It was Jonah Savanina getting completely destroyed on his pass block rep. Now again, this is what you expect from a 7th-round rookie. The mental processing just isn't there yet to reset his feet, skin backside, and hit the wide-open man. But this is also why it's impossible to judge Quinn too harshly. He's doing what rookies do. He's learning live, in front of a stadium full of fans and under a national spotlight. Then came the play-action package, the part of this offense that actually worked. In fact, 41.9% of Ewers' dropbacks came off play-action, and that's almost unheard of. You don't typically see that volume unless a team is either protecting a quarterback or fully leaning into what he does best. And it worked. When he was in play action, 12 of 13, 174 yards, a 118.0 passer rating. Those are numbers you associate with a top 10 quarterback, not a 7th-round rookie making his first start. But outside of that structure, the rhythm broke down. Timing routes suffered. The deep outs, a second late. The seams, either held too long or skipped over entirely. The Dolphins coaching staff put him in a position to succeed with movement and deception, but it's clear that Ewers still struggles when forced to read defenses on the fly. But one play in particular, fourth quarter, around 6:38, caught my attention. It wasn't a flashy touchdown. It wasn't even a scoring drive, but it was textbook quarterbacking. From play action, Ewers hits his drop, sees Jalen Waddle in one-on-one coverage with no safety help, and throws a perfect out route ball to the 45-yard line. Anticipation, timing, trust in the receiver. That's the kind of rep that makes a coach say, okay, there's something to work with here. And then, one snap later, the Stafford throw. That's what I'm calling it. Quinn uses his eyes to bait the linebacker into jumping Waller's route and then fires a no-look laser to Theo Ewers Jr. on the in-breaking post. That's swagger. That's guts. That's high-level manipulation, the kind of thing we rarely saw from Tua, even in his best games. You can't teach that kind of confidence. Sure, it came during garbage time, but it's not meaningless. It's a sign that Ewers isn't just surviving, he's starting to feel the game. And that brings us to the question on everyone's mind. Is this the future? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Quinn Ewers is not being crowned the next Dan Marino. He didn't throw a touchdown. He had 2 interceptions. But what he did show was a level of arm talent, anticipation, and mental toughness that gives this coaching staff a reason to pause. A reason to think. A reason to say, let's give him one more shot. And what about the team around him? Because for all the discussion around Ewers, this loss exposed issues far beyond the quarterback. Miami's run game was ineffective. The defense couldn't hold a second-half lead. Play designs became predictable. And even though the offensive line held up relatively well in pass protection, with only a 19.4% pressure rate, there were breakdowns in critical moments. This is not a one-man problem. This is a system problem, and it will take bold decisions from Mcdaniel and company to fix it before the playoffs. Now, here's the bottom line. If Quinn Ewers continues to grow, he may not just be a solid backup as some have labeled him. There's a world where, with the right support and development, he becomes a legitimate NFL starter. The traits are there, but we're not there yet. And the next game, against a far more aggressive Buccaneers defense, will tell us everything we need to know. So Dolphins fans, you've seen the film. You've heard the breakdown. You felt the growing pains. Now it's your turn. Should the Dolphins